From New Jersey, Mr. Pascrell, a member of the Ways and Means Committee.
Gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak for the unemployed. I've had more calls in my office in the last 2 weeks from those who run out of benefits. That's a fact of life. The last speaker who talked about the unemployed and are better off without us helping them, figure that out. The unemployed are better off when they can put food on the table for their families. The unemployed are better off when they can pay their rent. That's when the unemployed are better off. And that doesn't happen by osmosis. This legislation is incredibly important because millions of Americans woke up this morning and will not be able to pay their rent, will not be able to pay their electric bill, will not be able to do at the grocery store what needs to be done. For years, there were policies that placed the extraordinarily wealthy people of this country, the big banks, the well-connected, above seniors, above the middle class, above the American people. Just today, the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission had one of its hearings. You should have watched it. When these guys wiggled in their chairs at answering the questions of the commission of how we got to this mess. Look, there's enough to go on both sides. But you guys were in charge, not us. Remember, 8 million jobs, millions of people's retirements lost because of the recklessness of Wall Street. And we can't dig down and help those people who are unemployed. The extent of the time of unemployment we haven't seen in so many years. But if you go back to 2005, when we were warned of the clouds that were heading towards us, you'll remember in those 2 years before that, 2003 to 2005, the average salary and wage went down 1.5%. So,
2 minutes.
The chair reminds all members to confine their remarks to the chair.
During that period of time, which was a bellwether for what was going to happen, which was a distant early warning signal. Why? We couldn't understand where's this money going if everybody's making profits. And then we examined the record. Where was it going? It was going to corporate profits because nobody was watching. There was no oversight. These unemployed are suffering because of those profits in times where we were starting to tighten our belt and understand what was coming our way. The Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program began to phase out at the end of May, so this bill will retroactively restore those necessary benefits. This is dignity we're talking about. This is a manner when we're looking at their families and saying we are going to eat tomorrow, we are going to pay the electric bill, and we are going to pay the rent. I think that that's important and critical. After 2 wars and after 2 massive tax cuts would help the rich that you never paid for, you have a nerve to tell the unemployed people in this country that you must be wanting to be unemployed. I'm sorry we cannot help you. But if you're part of corporate America and you stuck it to the Americans and the middle class of this country and the poor, that's all right. We'll find a way to bail you out. Let's make sense. Let's be fair.